Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is a stock market wrap-up for Tuesday, April 14th. We're going to take a look at the market action today, and then we're going to look at four stocks: Celgene, U.S. Steel, Youku Tudou, and Zillow. Okay, the Dow was up almost 60 points, 59.6 points today. So a little bit of a bounce, and you can see it was selling off, early on, and kind of bounced around and then ended up closing up. So did not take out yesterday's high, took out the low of the last 2 days. So as it got down around the 10, let me get rid of this, around the 10 exponential and the 21 and the 55, we got some clustering going on here, but the 21 and the 10, it bounced off of that and has come back up. Now, it's hard to say that, what's going on with this. Let me take a look at the, okay. I mean, we could be getting a little M-top in here. I mean, it's possible. Of course, we need to close down tomorrow for that to happen. Again, the action is not, this isn't telling you a whole lot on the directional index. The action is still it's in the middle here. It's in the middle of this range, and between here and here and here and here, we've been there now for several weeks. S&P 500, and I'll come back to these arrows. I put these up there for a reason, and I'll come back to them. So it was up 3.4 today. Not a strong bullish looking acting day. Kind of closed here, opened slightly down to almost unchanged, sold off, came back close up slightly. So nothing super strong. If anything, I mean, it's, you got the potential for that reversal to still hold. The NASDAQ, a little bit more negative, and the NASDAQ actually closed down almost 11 points today. Little bit of, topping type action up in here. We'll see. The New York Composite actually bounced back a little bit more. And again, of course, we had that kind of a, outside down day I talked about yesterday. And then, what do? We come right back in here. Now, again, this did not take out yesterday's high, took out yesterday's low. So it's not super bullish action. And I've got the Russell 2000 on here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's been basically the last 3 days have just been nothing but doji, little doji bars. Okay, what do doji bars mean? Indecision. It's basically closing right where it's opening, and yeah, it swings down, comes back, and closes right in there. Now we still got this diagonal, kind of a rising wedge, which is negative. Now the more it goes out into the point, a lot of times the weaker the move becomes. It's like it's losing its power the longer it stretches out. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And then let's see, let's go ahead and move to the short-term trading index. 10-day 1.34. No, that's not right. Here we go. 0.96. The blue line is 0.96. So we're rapidly approaching the 0.9 level, which, I've talked about this before. Here was a point here and here and here when you're kind of getting to a little bit of an extreme reading. We're not quite there yet. The VIX, again, because it was selling off, it went up, and then it come back and closed back down. And if anything, that looks like a little bit of a reversal bar. But you got to have something to reverse, and you don't have much to be reversing. So I'm not going to call that a reversal bar. Reversal on the day, actually. But all right, so this is, again, just chopping sideways. And if I take a look at the RSI, let me see what the RSI, when it makes a upside down fish hook like this, that almost almost makes me think the next move's up, which would mean if the VIX goes up, the market's going down. You see these types of reaction where it up and then it slants back down, little slant back down. So a lot of times, let me see where that happened. So you got an up move on the VIX, and then off of this one, you got another up move off the VIX. Now, nothing super, but it would mean that, you know, the VIX would be up tomorrow and the market down if that holds, if that little pattern holds. The high-low kind of breaking down a little bit. And so what I was looking at, so the moving averages crossed, okay? So the 10 crossed below the 21, just slightly, but it was enough to say that, yes, it did cross. And so what I did was I looked back and said, okay, when, like, there's 6 times since July, counting the one in July, where the 10 crossed below the 21, and you know, what happened after that. So I marked them on the S&P 500. And so if you go back, let's go back to July. Usually they were early, okay? So anywhere between 8 and 13 days early. But here's where there was a cross of the moving averages on the high-low. And then you eventually had a little peak and you rolled over. Had a cross here, eventually rallied back a little bit, and then rolled over. Here you were early. The cross occurred, and here early before a sell-off. And then this one, you know, no significance on it. And this one, the same thing, no significance. And if anything, you were in an uptrend. So we really had 4 out of 6 that were prior to some kind of move to the downside. And 2 out of the 6 really didn't have a good signal. So, and I'd have to go back and analyze it. Again, this is just a quick and dirty. I just happened to see the cross and thought, okay. And so here we are today. Now this last one that we got was right on, you know, the move coming down. So there wasn't any kind of, you know, lag to the signal on the last one. So we'll see what happens now. But, you know, that's where I'm talking about this little cross happening just like it did here and here and here in November. And of course I went through those dates. All right. McClellan oscillator. Let's take a look at the New York Composite. Go to the McClellan oscillator, which is right here. So, you know, yesterday it came down here, approaching the 0 line, 15, and then now today it kind of bounced up with the market bouncing a little bit. Now, I noticed this trend line seems to have been broken. We'll see whether that is significant or not. This looks like it just pulled back up to it, and again, we'll see whether or not we now turn around and follow it back down to the downside. Okay, that's it for the indicators. Let's take a look at the dollar index. So the U.S. dollar dropped pretty good today. It was down 0.75 on the U.S. dollar index, DXY. And we're still in this uptrend. We got the 10 crossing above the 21. It looks like it's trying to push higher, but we'll see whether or not we, you know, what kind of little corrective move we're getting here, if this is it or if there's something more to come. And next one we'll look at is TLT. There we go. TLT rose, which meant long-term interest rates. So this is popping back up in here. So this means that this congestive action is not really over, in my opinion. I don't think. So we just adjust the lines. And so really what's might be going on is something more like this. So we could still be consolidating sideways here on the long-term bonds. And the next one is United States 12-month oil. And oil was up today, I believe, and U.S. oil was up. It was up 0.25, but boy, look at this little doji bar. I mean, you can barely see the doggone thing. Real little bar here. And again, it's trying to push its way up into this overhead resistance, overhead congestion that it's fighting. That's where this dotted line is. So we'll see whether or not it can make any headway or not, or whether this is just part of a counter trend move. And the last one here on the key markets is gold. And gold was down today, GLD down. So continuing this little pullback that we're getting here. So now, are we going to come back down, take out this point, or are we going to reverse? And we'll see. Right now, short term, it's starting to pull back. And let's take a look at Celgene. Don't tell me I don't have it. Zillow. See, I think I was going to look at 3D systems, and then I decided not to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to Celgene. And okay, so Celgene, this was looking, you know, like it's trying to roll over here. Got a little counter move here, but the moving average is across. This is looking like it's trying to trend to the downside. I was looking for an entry today. We got it. So got into puts right before the close here on this one. So we'll see if we get some follow through for at least another push down on this. Let's see. You know, the DI minus is above DI plus, not in a strong trend at any, it's trying to start a trending action. The 23 demand index is negative. And so the fact that the ADX is trying to trend would mean that this is starting to trend to the downside. You can see that it's broken some trend lines, but I haven't really drawn them in here. I mean, if you could make a whole series of them, you know, across the bottom, the top here, you know, just, you know, a bunch of all the pullbacks, you know, it's kind of broken down through that. Now, it did get some support coming in slightly below this, kind of in this area, but I'm still looking at this and thinking it has a good chance of rolling over and breaking down. I'm trying to think if there was longer term that I was seeing. No. Not that I'm on the address. We're gonna go with that setup that we've got that we're playing, and we'll see what happens. The next one is United States Steel, and boy, I need to pull these up. United States Steel. Let me pull. Okay, here we go. United States Steel. So this looks like it's breaking out of this symmetrical triangle. Could be a bottom. We'll see whether. Let's take a look at the you know, nice volume popping up greater than the last couple of days, but again, it hasn't even hit the 50-day moving average of the volume. So it's not that strong, even though it was 7.5 million shares. There's a lot of shares usually traded on U.S. Steel, and yeah, I wouldn't want to call that divergence yet. But we're not getting confirmation on the indicators of the higher price close. So we'll see whether or not this, sometimes what looks like initially a symmetrical triangle could run into resistance right at this high, and then just turn right back around, and you end up getting, you know, kind of consolidation sideways. So we just have to watch and see. Again, on a move like this, I would rather have seen significant amount of volume and not seeing it, which is why it makes me a little skeptical. Okay, let's take a look at Youku Tudou. And I don't know that there was any news or anything on Youku, but you know, the volume has been tremendous here over the last couple weeks, way above the 50-day moving average. And it could just be that, you know, people are thinking that this is low enough, it's ready to go, and maybe they're thinking the government's going to start easing off on its crackdown or something. I'm not sure. But let's take a look at divergence real quick. We are getting some bullish divergence on the RSI coming in, and then, you know, nice move up across the 50 and then pull back to the 50, and now it's rallying. I do. You know, same thing with DI plus, DI against DI minus, and the demand index is positive. I like the way the moving averages have crossed here. You got this big move, it's pulled back, and now it's rallying again. I mean, you know, it would be tempting to go long in here. Now, from an option standpoint, I don't like playing stocks in this price range just because it just takes a lot to get, you know, point moves on the options. But, you know, this is looking pretty interesting. Let's look at the at the retracement move here. Okay, that's the other thing. So it had this move, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-day move, big move, and then it's pulled back, not quite 50%, but looks like maybe about 40, 45%, something like that, 42%. So a little bit of a pullback, and now we got this move here today. So we'll see whether it can keep pushing and push up above here and get going. Let's take a look at one last thing on this, and then I'm going to move on. Let's just, yeah, okay, so it has broken this trend line. Oh, it's not a huge trend line on this one, but it broke it slightly, pulled back. So I'd want to see it take out this short-term top here and get up. It's probably going to run into some resistance up in here anyway, because I mean there was a lot of sideways consolidation. So, but interesting, could be the start of something on Youku. I'll have to keep watching it. All right, the last one we take a look at is Zillow, and Zillow got smashed today because of disappointing outlook by the company in a call that they had, and so the stock, you know, really hammered right on down through these support area right in here, and the buying came in. You know, it gapped all the way down, so it opened at 83.65 and then closes at 91.65. So we'll see whether or not that's just intraday short-term, you know, buying, or whether that's going to have some legs to it or not. When I look at Zillow, let's pull this back, and they've got this on arithmetic. Okay, it's not semi-log because the channels work the best there, and so a lot of times you're looking to see which one is the channel's going to work the best with. This looks like 5 major waves up. Okay, so what this has been doing, I haven't been following Zillow, so I just happened to look at this evening. So now this clearly is in corrective mode, and this move down here, this looks like, my initial take on this is some kind of A, B, and we're working a C down. Now, the interesting thing is we are correcting all the way down into where the 4th wave is. We haven't gotten to the bottom of the 4th wave yet. A lot of times corrective action will go to the 4th wave of the prior move. So, we could have all the way down to 70 to go, or we could, we'll just have to see. The wave structure in here is not totally clear. But, again, definitely corrective action going on. So we'll see whether or not it can do some kind of bottoming and form some kind of base and turn down here. And I would not get bullish on this stock. Okay, this has got arithmetic on. I wouldn't get bullish on this stock till this trend line was taken out. Now, unless there could be another major one develop, but to me, this contains all of the corrective, action that's going on. If I create a parallel and put that down to here, here's the other possibility, and it's interesting that, 70, again, I just said was the bottom of wave 4. So it'll be interesting to see if it continues to push down there or not. We'll have to watch and see, but it is definitely correcting. Okay, that's it for tonight. That's all we've got. We'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Yep, we'll be back tomorrow night with another market wrap-up. So if you're watching this video anywhere besides my website, head on over there, check out the posts, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. It gives you access to the Trade Ideas page where details of the setup, for example, that we used on Celgene today are there. And you can access the free PDF I've got for you, the 5 Essentials. So until next time, stay focused, follow your plan, and trade without fear. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.